are all books that honestly I feel like you guys are gonna be very surprised by. That's why I'm exposing these. Like this is a little different than what I normally read, okay? So we have some spicy books in here. We have some books by authors I've never read from before. We have some crazy covers, but I really am wanting to read books by new authors and like really dive into just like, I don't know, a different type of vibe. Still romance, but definitely different. So let's get into this video. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys want to see more videos like this, and yeah, let's just get into it. First, we're gonna start out with the fluffy books, and these are all books that I guess I wouldn't necessarily say are all fluffy, but they definitely are like heartfelt and like aren't wildly spicy. I mean, one of them is like pretty spicy, I think, but you'll get the vibe when you see all the books together. But the first book is A Love Like the Sun. This book I picked up because I saw someone review it and I immediately was like, I need to read this ASAP. It just looks so incredible. It also looks like a really good summer read, and on the back it has tons of like great accolades, is that the word, from Christina Forrest, who wrote The Partner Plot, from the author who wrote On Rotation, from the author who wrote You with a View, and on the front it says raw, vulnerable, and breath-stealing, a raw, vulnerable, breath-stealing love, and that was what Emily Henry said. The storyline seems like really unique. If you guys want me to like read through the whole story, go back to my Amazon, like huge Amazon haul video that I recently did, because I went through the whole thing. It was like the last book that I talked about. Cannot wait to read this. This is definitely one of the ones that I want to read first. Then I'm going to be reading The Fire Between High and Low by Brittany Cherry. This is the second book in the Element series. I actually was thinking like maybe I want to read The Problem with Players first, or The Problem with whatever is the first book in that series, but I decided to read this one because this one was just released and it's like I'm already invested in this series because I've read The Air He Breathes. This says, there once was a boy and I loved him. Logan and I were complete opposites. I danced and he stood still. He was quiet while I ran my mouth. I think that someone like dies in this book or something, and like maybe they're working through that. It's very elusive. Like there's not really a ton of detail about that one, but I love Brittany Cherry's writing and I try to read a book of hers every single month if I can, because they're just very easy to read. The next book I think is the book that I'm most excited to read this entire like coming month, and it is Love You Finally by Lauren Lacey. I read Love You Always by Lauren Lacey and immediately rated that book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't give me that 5-star feel, but I almost feel like this book, or maybe another book that I'm gonna read, is gonna be a 5-star. I just have that feeling, and I could be wrong, but like I love her writing, and I'm pretty sure that this book only has like 125 reviews or something. So I'm really excited to read this second book in the series. And it says, stifled by insecurities stemming from being a black girl adopted into a white family, Avery Whalen is a seemingly strong but certainly stubborn woman who always felt she wasn't quite good enough. She's surrounded by people who love her, but there isn't enough love in the world that could fill the void of wanting to be loved by her birth mother. Yet Avery's best friend, Deacon Owens, has always loved her even when she didn't love herself. Avery and Deacon's journey from best friends to lovers is at times tumultuous, frustrating, and even traumatic. However, Deacon is committed to supporting Avery no matter what. This spice-heavy and emotionally compelling love story showcases the bond between best friends who decide to walk two different paths in life but always seem to meet again at their most pivotal moments in time. They help one another cope, heal, and love. Most importantly, they help each other realize that they can have the life they always wanted, the life they always deserved. That just sounds so good, and reading the first book in the Beverly Mills series, I immediately fell in love with all of the characters. Like, not like, oh, I kind of like them, like actually fell in love with them. So I cannot wait to read this one. And then I want to read The Plan, and this is by Janaya Bentz, and I just cannot wait to read this book. It looks so good. The author on her Instagram, she like makes all these little like blurbs, like these mood boards, and like she'll have music next to it and quotes from the book, and I've like seen a lot of them, and the quotes make me so excited to read this. I also feel like this is gonna be good because it's like summery, fluffy vibes, and there are only I think 45 reviews for this book, and this is again a new author to me. A lot of these authors are gonna be new, and I just am excited to dive in. This says, she had one rule: no boyfriends till she was 25, but he had a plan, one that could change everything. So these are all of like the fluffier slash like heartwarming, heartfelt books. And these, let's get into these next. I have 3 thrillers. Now you guys probably know what these thrillers are if you guys watched my huge Amazon haul video, but this book was not in my haul, that recent one, and it's The Butterfly Garden. I actually had this on my TBR for the month of June and I never got to it, so I really want to read it in the month of July. I think I put it on my TBR twice, but I don't know what it is. Maybe because I've only heard one person talk about it, but it sounds really good. It's about a guy who I think kidnaps girls and he like brands them with like a butterfly, and he calls those girls like girls that are in his butterfly garden. And I don't know if one of them gets away, but it's supposed to be like a story of twists and turns. It's supposed to be like a horrific tale. It just sounds like a good thriller. I don't know why I haven't picked it up, because it genuinely sounds so good and I keep putting it on my TBR. But hopefully I pick it up this month. I also have The Passengers, and this looks like such a good story. It says you're driving in your self-driving car when suddenly the doors lock, the route changes, and you have lost all control. Then a mysterious voice tells you you are going to die. That just sounds wild. Just as self-driving cars are becoming the trusted, safer norm, 8 people find themselves in this terrifying situation, including a faded TV star, a pregnant young woman, an abused wife fleeing her husband, an immigrant, a husband and wife, and a suicidal man. From cameras hidden in the cars, their panic is broadcast to millions of people around the world, but the public will show their true colors when they're asked, which of these should we save and who should we kill first? So I just feel like that is going to keep me on the edge of my seat, and I was going to read The One by John Mars, but you guys told me to read The Passengers first. So I'm listening to you guys. You guys know what you're talking about. And then I also am going to read Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry, who's one of my all-time favorite thriller authors. If you like Freida McFadden's thrillers, read Lucinda Berry's thrillers. They're like fast-paced, quick, very like to the point. I feel like you should start with Appetite for Innocence. I feel like that's one that like kind of gives that vibe, but I'm excited to read this. One of my friends at the gym said that this is like one of her favorites that she's read, and she's read like 4 or 5 of them. And now we're getting into 2 authors that I have read before, but they are definitely spicier. The first one is Lyric, and this is in the what's the series called? The Eisenberg Effect series, and this is book 2. I read Luca, absolutely loved it, like truly devoured it, and I feel like I wanted to learn more about Luca's story. I also put this on my TBR one time and I didn't like pick it up, so we'll see how I feel. I am such a mood reader, so I always make a TBR, but it's always just like an idea. Like it's not like a, we're gonna stick to this, like we're set to this. Like when people are like, oh, I can't believe I didn't finish my TBR. Like to me, it's like, that's not the point. Like the point is just to read, not to finish like what you planned on reading. Like reading is reading. I don't really care how I do it. So I am really excited to read this. I hope I get to it. Not sure if I will. She's not thick, but like I feel like sometimes I get out of a series and then I get like less excited to read the book, and then whenever I dive back into it, I'm like, oh my god, I love it. And I kind of feel like I should just stick to a whole series and finish the whole series while I'm still like in it. But I do know that Lyric goes through some type of trauma. It's like alluded to in the other books, so it'll be interesting to hear more of her story. If you've read Luca, he's very much like a protector, like touch her and you die type of guy, and he also seemed that way towards his sister, and his sister is like confident, lively, and I feel like her personality is really gonna shine through. And then I also have Body Count by Octavia Grant because I read Work Husband, and y'all, I just could not put that book down. Read it so fast, and I feel like if you're wanting an unhinged book, read something by Octavia Grant. I just feel like her books are like none other. One of you guys actually DM'd me and told me like that you were trying to read like a newish type of book, and you're like, I'm kind of in a book slump, I want to pick something up, and you picked that up and you were like literally like, whoa, what is going on? I'm like, I told you, it's crazy. And then these books right here are all by authors that I've never read from before, and I am reading very heavily like a lot of Black authors, and honestly, I just like thank you guys so much for giving me so much encouragement whenever I share authors that maybe aren't super popular, or authors who maybe just like need a little bit more hype. And I feel like there's a lot of hype for Black authors on like Book Talk, like Black Book Talk, like the hashtag, but I still don't see it as much as I would like to, and not even just Black authors, but just diverse reads in general. I feel like it's so important for us to read diversely, and I think for me, I've really been gravitating towards books by Black authors because I want to be someone that can share like whether a book is like my taste or not, or like whether you like it or not. And I even look myself, like on YouTube, like I'll look for creators to share books by Black authors, and I even can't find it. Like I genuinely have a hard time finding books that aren't, you know, by Kennedy Ryan or like Tia Williams, like, you know, the more like popular Black authors. Like I feel like there's so many books that'll come out in Barnes and people will just like randomly pick them up, and they're by authors that they've never read from before, but like they just will like randomly pick them up. But I feel like I don't see that as often with Black authors. So I really want to highlight these stories and hopefully get you guys excited about them. Because I know when someone tells me like a book is good by a Black author and like they just like rave about it, I'm like, oh my God, I have to read it. So I want to be that person for you. And obviously to be that person, I have to read the books, because I'm looking around and I can't find like people who are really recommending books by Black authors on YouTube. I will say on TikTok, that's where like the majority of these book recs came from, genuinely. Like they almost all came from TikTok. So the first book is The Gray, and this is by B.B. Reed. I know this is supposed to be kind of spicy, and that's why like I'm exposing myself a little bit, because some of these books are definitely spicy. I don't hate spice. I just feel like it has to be the right book. Like there was definitely spice in Luca by Gray Huffington. Like spicy, like whoo, fanning myself spicy, but I really enjoyed that book. I rated it 4 stars. Loved it, and I ended up buying the rest of the series. So I feel like there are other books like that. I just need to find the right ones. And this book looks really good. It's about grief and battling through that. Atlas, his dad died, his mom died. His boyfriend, or her boyfriend, and best friend are screwing each other. Like she's just got a lot going on. And then I think the other main character's name is Rowdy. So I don't really know a ton that's like happens between them, but I do think that this is gonna be a good story. I know it's supposed to be a little unhinged, so I'm excited to go into that. I really want to read The Last Sad Love Song by Kimberly Brown. So many people have cried from this book, and I don't even know like what it's about. I kind of want to go into it blind. It says, join this couple's journey with a sweet, drama-free love story sure to leave you swooning and wanting more. I think for me, what's taken me so long to pick it up is it's like 141 pages, and usually I feel like I'm not going to be able to connect as much to a short book. But there are a ton of shorter books that I really enjoyed, like Take a Chance by Mieko May and like other books like that. So I need to like give shorter books a chance, but I do have 2 thicker books on my shelf. I will say though that whenever I read a book that's short by an author and I fall in love with their writing, it's so much easier for me to pick up a bigger book, because like I know that I'll love their writing style, versus picking up a bigger book by the author and I've never read anything from them before. It can be very, very daunting. So there's like good and bad on either like sides, reading short books and long books, but I really want to read this one because it's supposed to be heartfelt. The reviews on this are so high, and I feel like I could use a good cry. I haven't like really cried from a book in a while, so I think that that would be a really good read. I also am going to read Priest, which is supposed to be pretty spicy as well. I don't think that there's a ton of reviews for this one. I think there's only like 100 reviews on this book. It says Priest Richards is a 28-year-old CEO, and then it talks about Satasia Andrews, and they cross paths and their life changes forever. It kind of seems like it's 2 people who don't really want to like have commitment, and then they end up kind of like falling for each other. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from the back of this book, and I eat that up every single time. So I am excited to read this. Again, this is supposed to be pretty spicy, so we'll see. Another book that I'm also pulling from my TBR from June to the next month is this book by Cami. I somehow got something on the side of this book. I need to like keep my books clean, but I didn't read this last month and I really want to. I've never read anything from this author, and I've heard incredible things about her writing. And it just looks so freaking good. I also feel like books with pink covers always draw me in, and like she's beautiful in the cover. It's like so cute. It said Janae Jackson lives her life unapologetically. People are gonna think what they want, so she chooses to live with no regrets. Let them talk. While her best friend is hopelessly in love, she wants no parts of it. Money is the motive and love doesn't pay any bills. But then she meets Wisdom, who swore that he would never return home. And then they end up being kind of smitten, I think. This just looks good. Will Janae allow wisdom to prove her wrong about love, or will the trauma from her past keep her running from the very thing she needs? I mean, you throw in some trauma with like characters, I'm sad. Like I'm literally sad. So I wanted to read this month because I didn't get to it last month. Another book that I want to pick up is 1201. So many of you guys said that this is a great book by Bella J. I've never read it before, but it looks great. On the front it says, revenge is sweet, but it's even sweeter when it's with your ex's brother. Like, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Like, picture this, your fiance cheats on you the night before your wedding with someone he claimed was his cousin. Then just months later, he's at the author with the same cousin. What would you do? A, crash their wedding and unleash chaos. B, accept an invite to attend a play party with his brother. C, get the ultimate lick back by having a fling with his brother at that very party. Like, and it says, for Time Henley, it's all the above. So she does all those things. This is giving drama. Like, I need this in my life. I feel like I have been so excited to read books that, like, I don't really know what's gonna happen. Like, I do enjoy predictable books. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like in the season I'm at, like right in this second, I want something that's gonna just like turn me upside down. I'm gonna be like, what? But not like a thriller, you know, like a romance. So I feel like this is gonna be that. And then I'm also gonna read this book, which I think is the ugliest cover I think I've ever seen in my life. And it's just because it's so like, ugh, you know, I don't know. I just don't really like books with people on the cover, but I've heard so many great things about this book and the ratings are sky high on Goodreads. It says a sweet and steamy new adult romance. After an erotic 1 week filled with a musician she meets in a bar, Thea, is that it? Cunning never expects to see Levi Black again. Then Monday morning comes around, she discovers that her former lover is not only her professor, but he's also one of the top criminal lawyers in the state of Massachusetts. I'm out of breath. I'm literally out of breath, but this is supposed to be so good. I think the ratings are like 4.8 or something, just sky high. I would not have picked up this book if it weren't for all the ratings on Goodreads. And like, I think I saw this on TikTok where someone was like, these are books that are so underrated, and the reason they're underrated is because of the covers, and this was one of the ones in that haul because this cover is like, I mean, you know, it's, I don't know. And this might come back around because I can definitely see myself leaning more towards like nostalgic looking books like this, and I'm like, am I turning into my parents? Like, I feel like my parents read books like that. And then Can't Hide from Love by Bianca Xavier. I've never read anything from this author. I don't even really know what it's about. I'm gonna go into it blind. This also isn't really the best cover I don't think I've ever seen in my life, but it'll be interesting because I have never read from this author and this book is only 171 pages. And that is all the books that I want to read in July. You guys have been wanting shorter videos and you guys like gave your feedback on what you like really enjoyed watching, and some of you guys were like, I like the mix between short and long, like short sit down videos like with books and stuff, but then longer vlogs. So like I'm taking that into consideration. So comment below if you guys like that like type of schedule, like the still 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then have like maybe shorter sit down videos and then longer vlogs like around the 45-minute mark, maybe an hour, like type of vibe. Let me know if you like that. I'm kind of toying with that idea and just like kind of sticking to that. But you guys did say that you really enjoy seeing 3 videos a week, and because you do, then things will continue to stay the same because I could literally make 5 videos a week. I just love hanging out with you guys so much. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!